Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the delayed start. My mouse died, and I had to go replace the AA battery in the mouse. And I was like, oh, I can't even unmute to tell you guys because the mouse is dead. So I had to run and grab the mouse, or grab the battery and pop it in the mouse to even start talking to you guys this morning. Welcome, everyone, to the PreStream podcast episode shit. Again, I think it's 13 today. Maybe? No. Hold on. No. Today is episode 14 of the PreStream podcast. I told you it's going to be very hard to keep track of this stuff. When you do something every single day, you lose track of what day it is. It's true. And today is December 14th, 2021. What's funny is today's the 14th podcast. Today's December 14th, and I couldn't remember that. Go figure. I'm getting old. All right, everyone, welcome. How you doing? Today is Tuesday. Today is my final consecutive streaming day of the week. It's been only a 5-day streaming week this week because last week was a long 7-day streaming week unexpectedly. Now, next week we get back to kind of normality. It'll be a 6-day streaming week, which will feel just about right. I'll have enough time to play the games that I want to play twice a week during that streaming time, I feel, which is a good thing. And I hope that you guys are excited for a fun streaming week next week. It should be a good mix of stuff, concluding playthroughs, continuing playthroughs, special events, etc. We are coming up on the holidays. Well, we are in the holidays, actually. Now think about it. The holidays is considered like starting around Thanksgiving all the way through December into Christmas and then into New Year's. I know many of you are running about doing holiday-themed things. One of the things you absolutely must do today, if you are to get in on the holiday festivities coming up for my Christmas Marathon event, is you must nominate games for the upcoming Christmas Marathon today. Okay, if you don't nominate them today, you basically aren't going to get counted because I am, in the next 1 to 2 days, going to sit down and look at all of your nominations. And I'm going to make polls based on the games that were the most nominated games by you guys. Okay? And the polls will be posted publicly on DSPGaming on the community tab, much like that's where the threads are right now for you guys to nominate games. And you guys will be voting. Typically, when I put these polls up, about 1,000 people vote, sometimes 2,000 people. I know that sounds crazy, but we've gotten that kind of response, which is awesome. Keep in mind, there will be a public poll for the masses. And then there will be a poll just for members. For those of you who are paid members of this channel, you get exclusive access to nominating and then voting and getting a game into the Christmas Marathon yourselves. Okay? So, do so as quickly as possible. It is your last chance. Head to DSPGaming here on YouTube, the community tab. Go to the 2 posts. There's one that's public. There's one that's for members only. Nominate games. Last chance to do so before the polls get made. Okay, and I'll let you know later this week. Once those polls are in effect and you guys are voting, I'll let you know what the options are and how things are going. Okay? So I got a lot to talk about on the pre-stream today. First thing, before we even get to anything, quick reminder, if you're someone who watches my content on demand on YouTube on DSPGaming, there are many ways that you can support this channel outside of financial support, which mostly, let's be honest here, is coming from live stream viewers, right? Because live stream viewers, they become a member, they do a super chat or a super sticker or a tip, and you get a pop-up on stream and a shout-out and a thank you. But many people who watch my videos on demand on YouTube are just used to that formula of I watch the video, there's an ad that plays, Phil gets paid on the ads, right? Most cases that's correct. In some cases it's not. Today I'm playing Vice City. Today I make nothing on that, okay? Music's in there. It's going to get clean. So if you want to help the channel in other ways, there's many ways. Like the videos. You're watching this podcast right now, you're enjoying it. Like it. You're watching a gameplay video, you're having a good time. Like it. Liking the videos helps the channel, okay? Leaving a comment. Seriously, as simple as good job. As simple as Merry Christmas. Something's that simple. Just leaving a comment like that on a video helps the channel. It does. The metrics or whatever. And once we have people who consistently do that on my videos, things will actually start to get a little bit better for DSPGaming. It's true. YouTube will start to treat the channel a little bit nicer. Okay? It's awesome. So that being said, Thank you to those who are doing so. Really, because every day people now are consistently leaving comments and liking the videos, and I'm approving the comments and responding to certain ones. It's a lot of fun, something I didn't used to do for years and years, and now I'm back into doing it. I'm getting into the swing of things and doing it again. I'm having a great time having that interaction with you guys every day in the channel comments, okay? Just think of it this way. Every video I put out, on average, even the lowest viewed videos get like 300 to 400 views, right? Some of my more popular videos, you know, when it's a new playthrough or whatever, can get thousands and thousands of views, depending on the game. If half the people who watch those videos liked and left a comment, oh my God, I'm serious, this channel, DSPGaming, would be propelled forward. It really would. Because overnight, if you could get that kind of extra, what they call engagement on the channel, this channel would be viewed in a very positive way and would actually be treated in a much more positive light on YouTube. But we got to get people used to that mentality again because they haven't done it for years and years. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'll be mentioning this frequently in my videos and streams so that people get into the swing of things of doing that. Okay? Now, we got a lot of topics to talk about today. Very briefly, here's the schedule. Today it's Grand Theft Auto Vice City Definitive Edition on the first stream. We're still doing the big business grind. This is a major part of Vice City where you have to buy all the businesses, do mini games for them in order to earn them as part of your income. Once you do 7 to 10 of them, then the game unlocks the next part of the story. We got to do that today. I'm in the midst of the car delivery. After that, I don't even remember what's next, so you guys are going to have to help me to remember the different businesses. I think Malibu Club is one, and we're basically going to be doing a lot of that today, all right? It's going to be a chill stream, meaning that unlike other streams where there's a lot of story development and stuff, today's going to be a lot of busy work. So I hope you guys are ready to interact and chill and have a good time with me because that's really what the stream is going to be about today. Okay? Tonight, Lost Judgment continues. We're heading into the end game of the side content, meaning we finished 2 school stories last time I played. Tonight, we'll probably finish 2 more. And if we keep on that pace, then within another 1 to 2 streams, we'll beat all the side content. We can do the final side mission storyline with the professor, and then we can finish the game. It'd be nice to finish it this month. I don't know if we're realistically even going to do that. That's how long the game is. But we'll see. Okay, I'm going to do my best to play it twice a week and make as much progress as possible. That's tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. Okay? I'm off from streaming tomorrow. It's my day off of the week. When I come back on Thursday, it'll be the continuation of Halo Infinite's campaign, paired with the end game of Forza Horizon 5. Looks like at least 1 to 2 more streams and we're done, but we're very close to the end. We may even beat it Thursday night. Friday, more Vice City paired with Street Fighter. And let me tell you, I'm excited for Street Fighter on Friday. I'm going to be trying out my brand new Hori Fighting Stick Alpha on Friday as donated by a fan earlier this week. I'm very excited to try this out and see how it works with the Xbox Series X when we play Street Fighter Friday night. So that's going to be an exciting time. Then over the course of the weekend, it will be balanced between Halo Infinite campaign till we beat it, as well as Vice City. The night streams are going to be on Saturday, King of Fighters 15 beta. Sunday, Halo Infinite multiplayer. Monday, Lost Judgment. And Tuesday, Halo Infinite multiplayer. Now, what I might do as a one-off, which I know would basically kind of be shooting myself in the foot, once I beat Halo Infinite's campaign, I may actually take a main stream, maybe Tuesday, and that main stream is going to be Lost Judgment. Why am I putting Lost Judgment on a main stream? For 2 reasons. Number 1, because once I finish Halo Infinite's campaign over this weekend, I will have an empty slot during the daytime to do something different, and I feel like I want to do that to make some progress. I want to push as far as I can. And number 2, I want to make progress and beat the game as soon as possible. So if I do it as a daytime stream once, I may actually make significantly more progress than in the just rushed 2 hours that I play it at night. If I do 3+ hours as a main stream. So I'm strongly considering that in the next week, okay? Now that's the next week. By the way, the next week is 6 straight days of streaming. I'm off from streaming on Wednesday, all right? So 1 week from tomorrow. Then that Thursday the 23rd is the Christmas Marathon. That Friday the 24th is Christmas Eve, and that's my holiday Ask the King Q&A show. Then I'm off from streaming on Christmas Day, but when I come back on Sunday, which is the 26th, I'm back into the regular swing of things of playthroughs. Okay? So there you go. Well, more on this as it approaches. What I'd like to do today is talk about a series of interesting topics. Okay? The first topic I'd like to talk about is upcoming Christmas, right? Christmas Day. just so you guys know, I'm not streaming on Christmas Day. All right, I've decided against it. I usually take the day off every year when I get the opportunity. This year, my wife works on Christmas Eve 9 to 5, I think, which sucks. Who the fuck's going to do Christmas shopping at 9 to 5 on Christmas Eve? I don't know. People are going to be celebrating. My wife has to work. Bullshit. But anyway, I'll be doing Ask the King then. And then that night, we're actually going to get some food together. And then the Christmas Day, we're spending the whole day together. Okay? Yes, this is Chestnut in the corner of the room, Vincent. That's Chestnut right there. Chestnut the squirrel is back this year in the Christmas decorations. So glad you noticed him. So, Christmas Day. What I'd like to talk about today is something that a lot of people have noticed that I seem to get a little bit passionate about when I talk about it. Food. Food on Christmas Day. Okay? And over the years, how it's changed for me. And you know, current day what I do. Okay? So, Christmas Day food and dinner. Back in the day when I used to live with my parents as a kid, when I woke up on Christmas morning, we'd be so busy, you know, with present opening and everything, that basically there would be no breakfast. It would be more like a brunch, which is a combination of breakfast and lunch, because we'd all be so busy, you know, with the stuff that we got that day. And I remember we do various different things. Sometimes my mom would make like scrambled eggs or pancakes. Oh, fresh pancakes on Christmas morning is really cool. Sometimes she make French toast. Her homemade French toast was really good. And then sometimes, if we were in a good mood and my mom really felt like cooking a lot, she'd make bacon for the family, you know, because it used to be me and my cousin and my dad and my mom, so 4 of us. She'd make bacon for the whole house, okay? And man, there's nothing better. Christmas morning, you're sitting there, you've opened your presents, right? You're enjoying, wow, I get to play with this stuff soon. It's like action figures, toys, sometimes video games, stuff like that. And then you smell, oh my God, the whole house smells like fresh, sizzling bacon. That is absolutely amazing. Let me tell you guys. I actually missed those days when I would wake up and the house would smell like sizzling bacon through the whole house. You'd be like, oh, man. Oh. Of course, today I'm 39 years old. I probably shouldn't be eating too much bacon anyway, you know what I'm saying. But back in the day, you know, I was young. You eat whatever you want. You got a metabolism of like a jackrabbit, and you fucking burn it right off. So, that was the early day. Now, what would happen is, over the course of the day, whatever presents you got, you would play with, mess around with. You'd throw out the wrapping paper, clean up the house, and then, you know, I remember my earlier years, I would go play with all the toys that I had gotten for Christmas. But then later on, it was usually video games. So I would go play the video games, and I'd be in my room, you know, my TV, playing games all day until it was dinner time. Now, dinner in the Burnell household on Christmas Day was always an interesting thing. My mom had a few things that she traditionally liked to make for the family on Christmas Day. The first was ham. She always made some kind of a ham, whether it was a bigger roasted ham, whether it was like ham, those big slices you can buy with the bone in them. And she would usually glaze the ham with like a brown sugar and cinnamon glaze. And sometimes she put pineapple rings on top of the ham and cherries, and it would bake a little bit of like flavor, fruit flavor into the ham. So we'd always have ham on Christmas Day. But then she would make some interesting sides. I remember personally, one of the sides she would always make on Christmas Day, which is weird to me because it's not traditional Christmas, but it's something she always did. She would always make homemade manicottis. Does anyone know what a manicotti is? Well, if you're Italian, you probably do. Like me, I'm 1/4 Italian. My mom's half Italian. So she would always make something traditionally Italian on Christmas Day, and usually it was a manicotti. So manicotti is a big tube of pasta, large tube. Think ziti. You know what a ziti is, right? Little one. Giant tube. Think of a giant ziti, and that ziti is stuffed with ricotta cheese, and then baked on top of the ziti is sauce that bakes onto it. So it's not like liquidy sauce. It's actually like baked on tomato flavor with seasoning and everything. And then on top of that, more seasonings drizzled, and sometimes even more melty cheese. Okay? So homemade manicotti. You have a big one, sometimes 2, that you'd have as a side with your ham. Outside of that, I remember she would usually make some kind of potatoes, and that changed over the years because some years it was like mashed potatoes, homemade. Some years it was like scalloped potatoes, the ones you bake, and you have it as like a side. I always remember having some kind of like potatoes as a side with the ham. Yeah. And as for veggie, usually we would have a veggie, But man, I think it was different every year because I can't remember what the veggie was. I think some years it was like baked carrots. Some years it was like corn. Yeah, it was always some kind of a vegetable. I remember that. System 32 says you always speak about your Italian side. What about your Polish side? There was Polish stuff that my mom would make as well. Sometimes she would make homemade pierogies. Do I ever have homemade pierogies on Christmas? That's a good question. Maybe I did. You know, I think I might have. Because remember I'm saying I always remember a potato side with the ham. Maybe I did have homemade pierogies. That would make sense. Maybe my mom made manicottis and pierogies and it was both sides of her family. Actually, I think that did happen. Now that you've said that, System 32, I think you're correct. I think that's exactly what would happen. And she would always make the homemade pierogies with fried onions with it. For those who don't know, homemade pierogi, it's basically a pasta, but it's a Polish-style pasta. And it's made with like mashed potatoes and cheese inside of like a giant ravioli. That's called a pierogi. It's like a half circle shaped. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like, because they make things like that similar in other cultures, like an empanada. But an empanada is deep fried. While you don't deep fry pierogi, pierogi's doughy. It's like a doughy piece of pasta that you fry in a pan with onions. Very different. Not crispy at all. It's actually chewy and soft. Okay, so anyway, that was basically like my Christmas dinner when I was a kid. And then later on that night, all right, late at night when we're all tired out from a busy Christmas day, I would have tea and I would have what my mother called the strips. Okay, now, I don't know what you actually call them. I think they actually have a really complicated name because I think that they're Polish, but they're also other European cultures make these as well. What these are giant, you think of a jelly roll. You know what a jelly roll is, right? But instead of thinking a cake texture, like a puffy cake texture with jelly, think of like a doughy, almost like crusty bread, tasty, buttery. Okay, so it's harder, it's drier. It's like a crusty, buttery bread as the jelly roll cake. And then instead of jelly, there's various different fillings. You could do poppy seed, you could do walnut, you could do raisin, you could do prune, you could do all these different fillings inside. And these would be deep baked in the oven and then cut up into slices, almost like a jelly roll slice. And you would dip it in your tea and eat it. And that was our dessert for Christmas night. Now, we also had various other things as well. Italian cookies. My mom would always go to like Italian bakery, and my dad and mom would pick out Italian cookies that they wanted. We would also have what was called, not panettone, because panettone's an Italian dessert bread, but we would eat that earlier in the month. What was the other thing that we would do? The nougat. Oh, God, now I'm having a brain fart. We had these nougat candies that we would eat over the day as well. Okay? But anyway, Christmas was a big food day for my family. It was. Today, I don't even know what we're doing for Christmas dinner. Like, I was just talking to Kat last night. I was like, Christmas is like a week and a half away. We haven't even thought about what we want to do for dinner yet. And we're talking about it. We're like, well, we don't want to do turkey. We did turkey for Thanksgiving. Turkey gets old when you do it too much. And personally, I think ham's good. I don't love it. Like, I'll be honest, I don't love ham. I think it's okay. I like a ham sandwich. But, like, to have a dinner that's giant chunks of ham and stuff, maybe a little bit too much, honestly. And Kat actually doesn't really like that kind of ham at all. Like, she prefers other stuff. So we're talking about what we're going to do, and we're thinking about maybe doing, like, a roast this year. Maybe we'll do, like, a big beef roast or something in the oven that you can, like, marinate and stuff and have, like, lots of flavor. Because my mom used to do stuff like that, too. She'd do, like, a big beef roast of salty, but, man, it tasted amazing. Oh, maybe we'll do something like that. I don't know, we're talking about it. We haven't even decided yet what we want to do. The cool thing is having the whole day off, which is rare for me, and having a whole day off that I don't have to run out and do errands. Because as it is right now, my one day off a week, I'm out doing errands all day long, every day. Whether it's grocery shopping, health appointments with a doctor, or other kind of appointments that you need to do during that day, shopping for things for the house, pet supplies, etc. It's always like running around doing busy work all day long. Actually just having the day off to do whatever you want is such a freedom. And I was talking to her, I was like, what we should do is we should make a nice breakfast together. Maybe make some pancakes or bacon or scrambled eggs. We'll have that in the morning. Then we'll relax, have some coffee or tea or whatever. Chill out, listen to some Christmas music. We watch some Christmas specials. Later in the day, right? Have a drink or two. Relax during the day, right? Unwind a bit. Then have a nice dinner together. If we're going to have a roast, we could be cooking it over the course of the day or whatever, right? So, so we'll see. what we do. We're basically in the planning stages right now. We have no idea what we're going to be doing. I'm curious today. Now, today's the PreStream podcast, all right? Later today when I get to gameplay, and like I said, today when I'm playing Vice City, I feel like it's going to open us up to a lot of discussion. Because today I'm going to be looking for cars, which is going to be fucking grindy boring. Today I think there's the taxi missions, and those aren't super exciting either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that we will basically be, we'll be doing a lot of interaction during the streams. I would love to hear what you guys do for Christmas food, right? What is your family tradition? What do you do right now? Or what did you do when you was a kid? Is what you do today as an adult, if you're an adult. Unless you're like 5 years old out there and you watch my content, in which case, what the hell are you doing, man? You're out of your mind. But anyway, what do you do now? I'd be very excited to hear about this with you guys later on during the gameplay and the interaction and everything. Okay? Sound good? Okay. So that's one topic I wanted to get out of the way. I had that on my mind last night because I was talking about Christmas dinner with my wife. I was like, wonder what we're going to do. Excuse me. The next thing I'd like to talk about on the PreStream podcast today is the future of what we're going to do here on DSPGaming. Allow me to explain. As I already mentioned, in the schedule, we have several things that I'm working on that likely are going to finish soon. For example, Forza Horizon 5, 1 to 2 night streams left, we're done. We're definitely at the end of that playthrough right now, okay? Halo Infinite campaign, we're 9 hours in. Reports say it's about 10 to 15 hours long, depending on how much time you take. I'm taking a good amount of time around to do the side content. So I'm guessing at most 3, but more than likely 2 more major streams. And I'm going to wrap up Halo Infinite's campaign as well. That's going to free up a major daytime stream for me. Lost Judgment. Right now, we're in the midst of grinding for the side content and finishing up the major side story. But once that's done, another 1 to 2 streams tops to finish the main story. We're done with that. So I would think by the end of December, we're done with Lost Judgment. Or close. Okay? So all that being said, 3 major playthroughs, right? 3 that I'm going to be done with soon. The question asks itself, what am I going to be doing next on DSPGaming for the month of January? Now, if you look at January and its releases, there's one major release in January that really I'm interested in, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and that's at the end of the month. I'm sure there may be 1 or 2 other odds and ends that'll happen during January that I'm not thinking of right now. I have not made the schedule for 2022 yet. I'm going to probably at the beginning of January, because that's the time when I usually sit down and I say, okay, what's going on in the next few months? Let's plan these out so I know exactly what I'm doing every week. And by the way, February will be nuts. Every week in February, we've got 1, if not more than 1 major release coming out. That will be a crazy-ass game release month. But outside of that, what else am I going to be doing on DSPGaming for possibly end of December and into the new year? End of December is kind of easy to answer. I got all that holiday-themed stuff coming up in the next week, right? And then once the Christmas stuff is done, I'm going to start work on my Game of the Year awards. And what I mean by that is my most disappointing games countdown and my best games countdown. And those are going to be one-off streams, special streams. Usually what I do is I do them as night streams because it takes about an hour and a half each to go through those countdowns. And I figure that's a good way to go about it, is just to do it as night streams and do those as special events, okay? So that's going to take up some time. But once we get through the holiday stuff and when we get through that year-end stuff, now it's time to start new playthroughs. And I've had a lot of different ideas, as well as starting to get feedback from you guys on what exactly I should be doing. And what I like to do is do just a little bit of discussion about that today on the PreStream podcast to get it going, to get the bubbles flowing, to get the ideas, juicy ideas, start to seep out of the seams so that we know what to do when that time hits, okay? So, first of all, game that right now is something that people have been asking for a month and a half. I did not get around to it. I'm interested in doing it. It's a no-brainer, and it's something that you guys previously showed interest in, okay? This would be continuing my playthrough of Condemned Criminal Origins, which I restarted that playthrough during the Halloween Marathon event on Halloween this year. Previously, I had played this game many, many years ago. I think it was like 5 years ago. I played it during a Halloween Marathon event. For some odd reason, I didn't like it. I'm going to go as far to say I probably didn't like it because back then I wasn't an interactive streamer. It was just me hyper-focused on a game. And to me, this was like, oh, it's an outdated Xbox 360 game, and it runs like shit. I don't really know what to do. It's very vague. The controls kind of suck, and I don't understand it. And I got frustrated, and I didn't really like it. Okay? Today, I'm playing it, and I'm like, wow, it's very different. But here's why. Number one, I'm playing this on my Xbox Series X, and even though the graphics still kind of suck, you know, the controls are delayed. Still, it's a little better, I feel, than my initial run when I tried to do it years ago. In addition, today I'm an interactive streamer. That means you guys can help me, and you did. Like, when I was playing this game on Halloween, you guys were like, oh, well, this is how you do this. Oh, if you go over there, this is where this item is or whatever. So I was doing it, I was like, oh, this is much better. This is much better as an interactive stream. Seriously, it is. Much better than me trying to just flow through this older, outdated game. By the way, that game, Condemned Criminal Origins, was a launch title for the Xbox 360. 2006? Yeah, 2006 was the launch of that game. So you're talking, you know, 15 years ago. It's a very outdated game. So, of course, it has outdated gameplay mechanics and stuff like that. But I actually thought it was quite interesting. As I was playing it, I was like, wow, this is not that bad. I'm interested in playing it again. Now, from what people are telling me, probably 2 streams to finish it. So it's not a game that if I decided, oh, let's continue the playthrough, that's like, oh, it's going to take weeks. Apparently, I'm halfway through the game, and another 2 streams, I'm probably going to beat it. Okay? So, that's a possibility. One of the possibilities for me. Okay? Another possibility is something that just happened, it just came out in the last week that shocked me that it came out. I didn't even know it was coming out for consoles. Serious Sam 4. So for those who don't have any history with Serious Sam, let me give you a little bit of a history lesson. Crow Team, the same company that made Crysis years later, at one point was making these shooters for PC and messing around with a franchise that was supposed to be a take on, say, Doom, Duke Nukem, old school throwback shooters of the 1990s. But this game purposely was not supposed to be taken seriously. It was supposed to be a big joke. They called it Serious Sam to try to brand it the opposite of what it was. But essentially, Sam is this ultra serious, badass protagonist who looks crappy. Let's be honest, he does. He looks crappy. He looks generic. But he just blows the living shit out of everything with as many kinds of weapons as you could do. Chain guns, rocket launchers, laser guns, fucking giant shotguns, crazy weapons that you would always see in classic first-person shooters. He takes on wave after wave after wave of enemies. Ridiculous amounts of enemies. Over-the-top enemies. Like, and one of the big features of the game back then, this is like early 2000s when I played this on PC, was the music and the co-op aspect. The game had a very unique and interesting soundtrack at the time that I really enjoyed, and you could do drop-in, drop-out co-op with people on the internet. Teaming up with, 2, 3 other people and actually jumping in and playing the game in a silly way, not taking it seriously, but let's just do this. Let's grind through this fucking crazy waves and hordes of enemies and shit. It was actually very fun. It was. It wasn't meant to be the best game. It wasn't Game of the Year material, but it was definitely a good chill kind of game to play with others. Serious Sam 2, I played years later. I liked it. It was kind of the same vein of a game. But I remember Serious Sam 3 coming out, and I'm pretty sure I did a playthrough of that with John Rambo like a decade ago, and we didn't like it. If I remember correctly, the franchise kind of lost its way. It basically didn't really feel like the original 2 games anymore. It almost felt like it was off a bit. Now, Serious Sam 4 apparently came out last year on PC only with little to no hype, and no one really talked about it. It basically was like a non-release. It kind of slipped under everyone's radar. No one talked about it at all. Serious Sam 4 just came out on Game Pass for Xbox Series X. So there's something something random to do. It doesn't have to be a playthrough that I go crazy. It doesn't have to be a playthrough that is super serious, but it could be something silly that I do, maybe even as a night stream, and put it in as a couple streams and play through it and have a good time with it, just mowing through, armies of enemies and dropping in, dropping out co-op and stuff. It's nothing that's a major playthrough, but it's potential. Okay, something different. Another game. Wait, what? I keep hitting my mic? No, I haven't hit my mic. I haven't hit my mic, no. If people are saying they're hearing a noise like I'm hitting the mic, I don't think I have. Maybe I am and I'm not paying attention. Okay. Another possibility. There's actually a game coming out either today or tomorrow. It's called the Gunk. This is a game that's an Xbox Game Pass game on Xbox Series X. It's a unique combination of horror with puzzle and platforming. And people who've played it are actually saying it's actually a sleeper hit. Like, it's actually really, really good. Yeah, it's actually a really good game. And that no one's really talking about it because I guess they felt that basically this year's game releases are over. And so there's no real discussion of it. But now people are actually saying, oh, it's actually really good. You should check it out. So I'm considering doing that, you know. I'm considering doing it, and we'll see how it goes. If if it sounds like a good game that you guys want me to check out, I could do that as well. I'm in no rush. It's a Game Pass game, but it's another possibility. Okay? Now, that's just a few initial ideas. Okay? Outside of that, one thing that people have definitely said I should do is, since I haven't done this since like the late summer, I should sit down and I should do an actual dedicated Game Pass stream. Meaning one day as a main gameplay stream, we go into Game Pass on my Xbox Series X. We go through it all. Okay? And what's going on? I was saying, oh no, an alarm. Oh, okay, this is talking about Golden Colts. I thought you were talking about noise on the stream. You're freaking me out. Okay. Yeah, like basically go on Game Pass, check it out, and see what do I want to do. Maybe I could pick a couple interesting games off of Game Pass and do them for the month of January. If you remember back in the summer, I did just this, and we had some interesting playthroughs of games that I wouldn't have played, but ended up being quite entertaining. Anyone remember Last Stop? That crazy, zany, narrative-based Annapurna Interactive game, right? So that's definitely something that we could do. Have a whole day, 3 hours, just going through Game Pass. Oh, here's a couple interesting games. Pick them, maybe even boot a few up and try them for the first time. And then the ones that we like, we can actually do playthroughs of over the course of January. Okay? That's definitely a possibility. Now, one thing I definitely want to take you. One thing I definitely want to tell you, I don't want to do, is Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Not to say that they're not great games, and not to say that I don't want to play them. I do. But the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl are remakes of older Pokemon games, not new games. They're remakes of games that have been out there for a very long time. Whether I play them today, in a month, in a year, or on my deathbed, they're the same games. See, they're not going to change. It's not some new game, okay? Now, I've never played it. So, to me, those will be first-time experiences. For sure, when I play that game, it'll be a first-time experience. But the problem here is Pokemon Legends Arceus already is coming out in late January. Do I want to start a Pokemon game now, have to try to rush through it, and then play another Pokemon game in late January? I have an answer for you. I have to think about this very closely. No! I don't want to do that. I don't want to do 2 back-to-back Pokemon games. That would be a bad idea, in my opinion. Okay? So, I'd rather focus on Arceus being the new game, and then maybe what I would do is play through that maybe later on this year. The summer, essentially, when things are very slow. Then we could play Pokemon Diamond or Pearl and enjoy it together and have a nice lengthy playthrough trying to fill the Pokedex, etc., rather than having to try to rush through it in a very limited amount of time. I really don't know why they released it the way they did. Why would you release a Pokemon game in late November when you actually have a brand new one coming out in late January? Like, that just, it's like shooting yourself in the foot. You can't release, that'll be like, oh, we're going to release Street Fighter 6 in November. Oh, by the way, Street Fighter 7 comes out in January. Or, even worse than that, we're re-releasing Street Fighter 4 with modernized graphics and improvements in late November, but then Street Fighter 6 comes out in January. That's actually a better comparison. Because what they did is they re-released an older one with a new incentive to play it, but now you have to rush through it because the new one comes out. You know what I mean? I just don't like that. Personally, I'd rather wait for Arceus. So, I'm not going to be playing Pokemon Pearl or Diamond right now. I will in the future, though. Okay? So, that's the deal right now. Those are some of my ideas based on the feedback you've already given me. Now, if you guys have completely different ideas of what I can be doing, I'm all ears. Because, like I said, essentially what happens is this next week, I kind of know what I'm doing. We're going to be getting to the end game of several games. Once these games like the Halo Infinite campaign, the Forza Horizon 5 playthrough, and finishing up Lost Judgment. Once those are all done, okay, then we're going to now be needing new games to play for about a month. Once we hit February, we don't need shit. Once we hit February, every week there's like 2-3 releases. It's insane. But we're going to have a month of stuff or we need to do stuff. What should I do? So I'm all ears. What do you guys think? I would love your feedback now. You can tell me now, but I'm doing the pre-stream podcast, so chances are if you talk about it now, I'm not really going to be able to respond or get all your feedback. What I would say is, you know, during the course of today's stream, when I'm playing Vice City, share. Tell me then, this is what I think you should do. Give me your opinions then. We'll talk about it publicly together on stream and get some good ideas, okay? Or, if you're watching this on demand, oh my God, what a perfect opportunity. What did I say at the beginning of the podcast? I said, like the videos, leave a comment. So if you have an idea what you want to see after the holiday stuff ends, leave a comment on this video, on this very video, okay? Right, I guarantee you this video will have like between 500, 800 viewers. If 2% of you left comments, 2%, it would be great. Okay? Oh my God. Oh shit. Oh. Excuse me. Holy shit. Woo! I just read an article last night. It says that cows are the biggest source of methane gas on planet Earth. I'm not so sure. Holy fuck. Seltzer's powerful, dude. Excuse me. That was ridiculous. What the frick? Okay. Anyway, so I have one more topic to talk about on today's pre-stream, and this one I may elaborate a little bit longer on because it's something near and dear to my heart. It was basically a time in my content creation history that a lot of people tend to forget about and try to brush under the rug, even though it actually was a pretty important and interesting year for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, to give you a little bit of quick history, I started making videos on YouTube in 2008. From the years of 2008 all the way through like 2013, I rarely never took anything I did seriously. I started doing it for a living in 2011. I still didn't care. I was dicking around. I was fucking around. I was making fun of games. I was constantly insulting game developers. I was raging. I was making really inappropriate jokes constantly. That was me and my shtick. I was the underdog guy who was just Joe Average, dicking around with games, didn't care about it, didn't take it seriously. I certainly, the last thing you would call me is professional. Okay. In 2013, I adopted direct capture. Instead of pointing a camera at my television, yes, from the years of 2008 to early 2013, I pointed a camera at the TV. I didn't even direct capture, okay? Didn't even use a microphone until 2013. Yeah, how primitive was that? In the year of 2013, I started doing direct capture and live streaming. But even then, I still was acting as if, basically, it wasn't really a job. Even though I worked my butt off and I was making ridiculous amounts of content for you guys, I ignored my live streaming audience. I streamed, but didn't talk with you guys at all. I didn't read the chat. I didn't interact with you guys. There was no shout outs, no discussion. It was as if you guys were not there. It was basically like I was ignoring you, and I was just sitting here like this, playing a game like this, doing commentary, telling you everything going on in the game, swearing at the game and raging, and paying no attention to you whatsoever. All right? Now, today, I am mature enough, I am professional enough, and I am smart enough to tell you that that was a big mistake. It was, okay? Essentially, what I should have done is I should have identified the trends that were going on in gaming, and I should have changed my formula to be interactive. When I did do that in 2017, things changed for me for the better. Because I'll be honest with you, there was a time frame, I would say probably about 2015 through 2016, when I was absolutely positively bored with my job. I didn't want to just do gameplay commentary anymore, okay? I was tired of it. I felt burnt out. I was bored to tears with it. And what I should have done was recognize the live streaming trends and became an interactive streamer sooner rather than later. But I was a stubborn idiot, and I decided that I was going to do things differently. Now, in 2016, definitely the popularity of DSPGaming had waned. And I decided that I wanted to take a new approach to content creation on the internet. I wanted to do what I called a three-pronged approach. So the first prong would be DSPGaming, where I would just do all my raw gameplay and commentary as I always had done. That wasn't going to change. It was always going to stay the same. So that was prong number one. And then there was a second prong. And the second prong was going to be the King of Hate Vlogs, my vlogging channel, where I would do things like spoken word reviews, actual like not daily, but reaction videos, news videos, that kind of stuff. So that was prong number 2. But then there was a third prong. And the third prong was all new and something that I had never done before, an edited style content channel. That channel was going to be countdowns, very high production value reviews, mini reaction videos, you know, that kind of stuff. Basically stuff that I'd never done any kind of production value on YouTube. And I wanted to basically see if I changed my formula up from being Mr. Raw Gameplay to a guy who put a lot of time and effort into editing content, would it work? So the third prong was a new channel that I created on YouTube called KOGaming. And between the 3 prongs, this was my strategy for 2016. I figured I'd get you one of 3 ways. Yeah. Okay. Now, KOGaming was quite interesting because what I did in 2016 is so different from what I do today. Today, as you guys know, I'm here all day long streaming. I have 2 major streams a day, right? First stream is usually longer. It's a more serious narrative-based game, an ongoing playthrough, usually AAA games I play during my main gameplay streams during the daytime. Night streams are more chilled, relaxed content, sometimes games that are way less popular, or a game that isn't necessarily an ongoing playthrough. For example, Street Fighter, Halo Infinite multiplayer. These things are not ongoing narrative playthroughs, you see. Different kind of content on the late streams. But in 2016, I decided I was going to dramatically cut back on the amount that I was doing live streams. I was just going to do 1 stream a day. That would be raw content. And that stream would be about 3 to 4 hours of gameplay. And then at night, I would be working on KOGaming. Okay? Now, this is interesting because back then, all right, things were very different on YouTube. This was way before the YouTube ad apocalypse. Okay? What is the YouTube ad apocalypse? YouTube ad apocalypse is when certain group of content creators, one of which was very much PewDiePie, but a couple others as well, basically behaved badly on YouTube. And at the very same time that they behaved badly and got into big trouble, like PewDiePie saying the N-word blatantly on YouTube, and it wasn't like, oh, I misspoke and it sounded like I said it and I didn't mean it. No, he outright said it and meant it the way he said it in his video, okay? So when that happened, a lot of companies looked and said, wait a minute, these are the big content creators on YouTube acting like this. And we have advertisements all over their videos, and they're being like this. Like, we don't want that. That's terrible. We don't want to be advertising on that kind of content. And a lot of advertisers were like, man, this is a bad sign. At the same time that was happening, they also found out that advertisements were literally be putting on any video on YouTube. There were videos of people who were saying ridiculously over-the-top political, racist, crazy things. People, terrorist videos. I'm not even kidding you. People, I'm gonna, you know, hurt a group of people and stuff like that. Fucked up stuff. And there were ads all over. Starbucks ad runs on it, right? So when all this was happening together, basically a lot of major companies, including Walmart, Starbucks, these giant companies that were doing a huge amount of advertising on YouTube, said, we are pulling the plug. We've had enough, and we're out of here. And when they did that, the ad revenue plummeted on YouTube and made it to someone like me couldn't even make a living doing YouTube videos anymore. Okay? But this was the year before that. At this point in 2016, it was still very much viable to make a living doing YouTube videos. Now, for me, I had noticed the popularity of my raw gameplay videos was waning. I noticed that even though it was the same formula and people seemed to like it, and I had a dedicated fan base of people who watched the videos, the income and the views I was getting on YouTube, on DSPGaming in particular, was dipping. And I said, man, I got to make a change. I can't just keep doing what I'm doing and watch the channel go, boo. I have to do something different, okay? So, I diversified myself and made this channel KOGaming, which was all edited style content. When I first started this channel, okay, it didn't really take off at all. I was doing things such as the week in review. And what it was, like, highlights the best moments of my raw gameplay on DSPGaming that week. I remember sometimes I had stuff from Yakuza, It had stuff from shooter games. I basically just highlight the funniest moments of the best things that happened in the week. You know, I'm sitting there at night, like I told you guys, I would not stream at night. I would forego doing a live stream of gameplay, and I would just sit there editing and doing voiceovers and doing all that stuff at night. Okay? So, I would be working my butt off. Sometimes it would take 2-3 nights of work. We're talking 2-3 hours a night, 2-3 nights of work. So we're talking 9-10 hours of editing, voiceovers, etc. Put out the video. The video gets 4,000 views. Makes me like $8. Now, it didn't work out too well in that regard. So at first, I say the first 2-3 months that I was working on KOGaming, it wasn't really working that well. All right? But I'll tell you what happened in 2016. A bunch of games released. And these games were so disappointing, underwhelming, and in some cases just outright rip-offs. I made a series of videos that year, all right, that basically highlighted those games, okay? No Man's Sky, a game that was hyped for years and years. It would be the future of gaming. Oh my God, No Man's Sky is going to be like the best game ever. Open worlds that you can explore across the galaxy. Unlimited randomly generated planets. Oh my God, you're going to see so many creatures that are so cool and unique and interesting and yada, yada, yada. And No Man's Sky, at least at release, today very different, but at least at release, was one of the worst fucking games ever made. It was completely underwhelming, lack of content, insanely repetitive, boring content. Basically, oh, by the way, I accidentally just banned someone by accident. I did not mean to do that. I'm very sorry. BITW awesome. That was a complete misclick. I'm fixing that right now. You should be unbanned. That was completely wrong. I wanted to ban the guy above you who insulted me, and I just did. So BITW awesome, you should be back now. That was a misclick. I'm sorry. Let me make sure that this works. BITW awesome, are you back? Should be back. That was a mistake. He's back. Okay. Complete misclick. My apologies. Okay. So anyway, yeah. Me covering No Man's Sky, my initial video got like 50,000 views. When I actually did my full-on review after playing it like 2-3 days, it got like 150 to almost 200,000 views. Pretty good for an up-and-coming channel. I did a series of videos that were very highly detailed reviews. They did pretty good, like Doom 2016, Uncharted 4. They all brought in anywhere from 10,000 to like 30,000 views, which is good, again, for a new channel. That's good viewership. But the video that by far blew up the popularity of KOGaming at the time was, of course, a negative video. Because I hate to say this, and I know this over the course of me doing content on YouTube, YouTube has increasingly become a more toxic and negative place over the years. It just has. Someone who makes a video that's about drama, about negativity, about something bad, okay, compared to someone who makes videos about something good, positive, rewarding, refreshing, the best of versus the worst of. Whenever I would do the most disappointing games countdown, it would get twice as many views as the best games of the year countdown. And it's always been like that. I hate to say it, I guess it's human nature, is that humans focus on toxic, negative shit. So, the video that blew up on KOGaming back in the day, that absolutely brought in attention to the channel, was Homefront: The Revolution, when I reviewed the game and said it was the worst game at that point that I had ever played. I concretely, in about a 15-minute video, outlined so many ways that the game was incredibly unfinished. It felt like it was rushed, tons of crap gameplay, terrible design choices, unfinished trash. On the PlayStation 4, it was supposed to be next gen, and it really felt like a last gen game. It was a piece of dog shit. Okay? Oh, excuse me. So, I make this video, and I'll be honest with you guys, when I made the video, I didn't think anything was going to happen. I thought it'll be just kind of in line with the other videos of the channel. It'll maybe get like 10,000, 20,000 views. As of today, that video has over 1.1 million views It is the most watched video on YouTube about Homefront the Revolution, and that includes every video ever put out about it, including the full-fledged reviews from full game outlets and stuff. My video is the #1 video about that game on YouTube. Okay? Pretty crazy. I didn't expect that. And personally, I don't even know what triggered the YouTube algorithm to actually make that video as popular as it was. Because I remember when I put the video out, within 24 hours, it maybe had gotten 10, 20,000 views. And I was like, okay. Then all of a sudden, like there was a second wave of attention and viewership that hit it. It hit somehow. It hit the YouTube recommended algorithm. And everyone started seeing the video in their recommended feeds who was interested in the game. And then people just started seeing it in their recommended feed who weren't interested in the game but were just looking at video game stuff. It just blew up as like the biggest recommended gaming video for like a week and a half. Okay? And that just blows my mind. That's what happened. Now here's the thing. And here's the thing about me compared with other content creators. Okay? I'm someone who's an honest dude, and I'm someone who's going to cover games in a worthy way, and I'm not going to over-exaggerate, and I'm not going to lie, and I'm certainly not going to focus on one style of a video just because it became popular, okay? There were other videos that I made that were negative videos. For example, I played the Ghostbusters video game. That was the year when the Ghostbusters reboot happened, the all-female cast. They ended up changing the name of the movie later to Ghostbusters Answer the Call because it was so bad, they didn't want to tarnish the Ghostbusters name by calling it Ghostbusters. They changed the whole name of the movie because it was so fucking bad. But they had a tie-in game with that. And I played it. That was one of the worst games I had played. I did a negative review of that. I also played a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. That was god-awful. And I reviewed that. So when I did these negative reviews, these videos took off. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Anywhere between 50 to 100,000 views usually on the negative videos that I put out on KOGaming. Those videos, no exaggeration, because again, remember, this was before the era of the YouTube adpocalypse. They were making me, I'm not exaggerating, thousands of dollars. When I put out a video, that fucking Homefront the Revolution video made me thousands of dollars. Those other videos made me hundreds upon hundreds, like lots of money on each video, okay? And by the way, this wasn't, oh, people were tipping and people, no, I wasn't even doing that. This was just people watching ads was making me that kind of money on those videos. Pretty crazy back then how different things were, okay? But being the kind of person that I was, I did not want to just be the kind of guy who put out constant, toxic, negative content. I could have done that. I could have made a whole series saying the worst game I've ever played and highlighted reasons why every game that was the worst game. I could, in fact, people were asking me to do that. People were like, Phil, can you literally play all the major releases and just make negative videos about them saying they suck and outline the reasons why? You don't have to lie. You can actually say the reasons why the game's bad, but it would be hilarious if you did an ongoing series where you basically said every game is the worst game ever and said why. People actually felt that at that point in my history as a content creator, if I had done that and only made negative content like that, I would have blown up in popularity on YouTube and had a whole recreation of a new career for myself. It would have been like starting over. Seriously. And you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. Maybe right. Maybe. Absolutely maybe. If I just sat there and was toxic and just made crappy, toxic, negative videos about games constantly, I actually might have had a second taking off on YouTube. Because KOGaming had momentum. It did. Every video I was putting out had momentum. Okay? But here's what happened. I didn't do that. I said, I'm going to be true to myself. I'm going to be an honest guy. I'm going to make videos that I feel good about. So that year, as the year progressed, better games came out and I started making reviews for the better games. I started doing more meaningful content like countdowns, like what's the worst things about modern gaming, but also, you know, some good things and positive countdowns as well. I actually did a retrospective about a Sonic 2006 when I played it that year, telling, you know, the positives and negatives of what I felt about the game. Pretty insightful. I did a lot of interesting things on that channel that year. But what ended up happening was, because I made positive content instead of focusing on negative content, okay, by the end of the year, all of that momentum that I had was gone because people moved on. They were like, oh, this guy's not going to just crap on games anymore. That's what was funny. So fuck it. We're moving on. We're going to watch someone else be toxic and negative. And, you know, I hate to say it. Let's be honest here. Take a look at someone like Angry Joe. All right? Guy who has been around the block. He's been making content as long as me, if not longer. And his highly edited style, highly produced style of video is incredibly popular on YouTube. But what are his most popular videos? The ones where he craps on a game. The ones where he just rips the game a new asshole. He over-exaggerates for comedic effect. And he basically says the game is terrible, right? Those are the ones that get 1 million views. And he still, to this day, puts out videos that get about 1 million views each. Because he says these negative things about games. I'm not saying that's bad at all. It's quite the opposite. I think that he's one of the guys, he has a flair for it, right? And that's great. But why is it that on YouTube, only the toxic shit ends up being the most popular? Whenever he even does a review about a game that he likes, the viewership's way less and the popularity's way less. Okay? It's fucked up. So, by the end of 2016, I had seen a monstrous slowdown in any kind of attention that I had on KOGaming. You know, these were videos that at one point in the middle of the year, when all that popular stuff was happening, any video I put out was getting between 10 to 50,000 views. By the end of the year, I was doing like year-end countdowns that were barely getting 10,000 views each, sometimes less. Basically, all that popularity had died down. Now, the thing is, even then, getting around 10,000 views a video, if I was putting out several videos a week, it was still enough to support the channel. It was. That was still enough to say, oh, this channel's worth it. This channel is definitely something to invest that time. And remember, I was only streaming once a day. Imagine if just this first stream was all I did. I never did a night stream, right? That's what I was doing, because every night it was edited content for KOGaming. Okay? So, it still was profitable for me, and it still made sense to do it. And even into 2017, I pushed forward, continuing with that channel. And originally my plan was to keep going and maybe try new stuff on KOGaming in 2017. In fact, one of the things I was doing was fan-made montages. People who were doing things like, this is how you don't play and stuff. And I was going to highlight that content on KOGaming. Okay? But then what ended up happening? Two things happened. Number one, the YouTube adpocalypse. And when the YouTube adpocalypse happened in February, March of 2017, ad revenue overnight halved. Okay? So imagine you were making a certain amount of money right now at your job. Let's say you make, I don't know, $12 an hour at your job. You come in the next day, they say, okay, you're going to put in the same work day today, but you're making $6 an hour. What? What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm paying you half today. Forever. It's not going back to the way it was. You're getting paid $6 an hour forever now. What? Well, wait a minute. I got bills to pay. I got responsibilities. How do I make a living making half of what I did doing the same work? It's not even like you're letting me work less so I can go get another job. You're telling me I'm just making half. Yes. Deal with it or you're fired. That's pretty much the situation I was in. It was overnight. Ads go away because those advertisers pulled their ads because of, number one, the big controversial debacle with PewDiePie saying the N-word and basically blowing that out of proportion, and a lot of other content creators then getting negative highlights because of that situation, combined with the fact that the advertisers were finding their ads were on all kinds of toxic, gross videos. Just overnight, they pulled their ads, and that was the end of that. Now, in addition to that, what YouTube did in response was even worse. What YouTube did, they instituted a new video flagging system for content, okay? What this new flagging system did, it would look for key factors. Graphic content, sexual content, the actual number of swear or adult words used in a video, serious words like swearing or adult words used in the title of a video, in the tags of a video. It looked for all of these things, okay? And when it identified those things in your video, it would actually flag your video and say, not fit for advertisement, and make it so that you couldn't advertise on your video anymore. So overnight, you would work your ass off on a video that was doing well views-wise, and you would have no ads on it and make no money on it ever on YouTube. It was a complete waste of your time. So, When the YouTube adpocalypse hit, I changed my formula and I became a full-time streamer that was interactive. I started talking with you guys. Yes, you guys started doing contributions on the streams that I would shout out. We started having meaningful conversations on the streams for the very first time, because up to then, it was me ignoring you and just acting like you weren't there and me just playing a game. And what ended up happening was, it became a different experience for me. At first, I'll be honest, it was very challenging. I remember I was playing Breath of the Wild, and I had already started Zelda Breath of the Wild as an offline playthrough slash, streamed but not interacting with you guys. And then one day, here we go, I'm playing it, and all of a sudden, people are coming into the chat, and they're talking about the most random shit. They're talking about food, they're talking about diapers, I'm serious. They're talking about the most dumb shit, and I'm like, I remember saying on that stream, I still remember this to this day, it's stuck in my head, I'm like, how on earth am I supposed to play this game when you guys are coming in here talking about the most random things ever? Like, it's impossible for me to keep a train of thought, right? And how funny that is, because now today, think about today's streams, how random things are today. The random topics people bring up, the things we talk about out of nowhere that have nothing to do with the game. But back then, it was such a new experience for me, right? And let me tell you something. When I basically started doing that, I realized, wow, this is such a different experience. It's harder. It's much harder than just doing the raw gameplay kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's way more fun. It ends up being more of a feeling of social interaction and experience with you guys. Like, we're chilling, we're having a good time, right? It's not just about me playing the game anymore. It's about us having that interaction and having that time together. And that's fun. You never know what you're going to talk about on one of my streams. And that's cool. That's one of the cool things I feel about my streams that's really nice is we don't know what we're talking about today. We don't know what's going to happen live today that we're going to react to. It could be in the game. It could be something else in real life. Who knows, right? And I'm having a great time about it. And, Chicken Man even says, I'll be honest, you were kind of a dick when you first started to stream if topics were not about the game. You're right. And then over time, I got used to it. I got much better at reacting to things on the fly. Rather than, oh, this is something that I'm just reacting to the game. Now it's like, now I can react to you guys a lot better. I just got better at that, And today, I would never, and I mean this, I would never want to go back to the kind of content that I used to make. I felt, at that time, I told you, 2015, 2016, I felt like that content was dry, boring, played out, and it wasn't going anywhere. I was so tired of doing it. I was actually completely burnt out that year. That year was, I'll be honest, 2016 and early 2017, probably one of the worst times of my life, personally, behind the scenes. Things were kind of falling apart. I hated my personal life, and my professional life was getting boring, and it was like, damn, everything at once just sucks, And I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to be able to continue to be a content creator. I didn't know what was going to happen. KOGaming was kind of like the one positive during that time frame that was like, wow, this is cool, something different that I tried, and it worked. And it blew up, and people liked the content, and they showed that if I put effort into content like this, highly edited, that they'll appreciate it, and they'll come support it. I liked that. But then literally YouTube took it all away. Number one, it was the YouTube adpocalypse. That was number one. And number two, I don't know if I didn't mention this yet on the pre-stream today. They demonetized the entire channel of KOGaming. The whole thing. Like, out of nowhere. No explanation. No justification. One morning, I go on KOGaming and I look. Every video has been flagged unfit for ads. Every single one. To this day, I still can't figure it out. I don't know why they did that. Because when you look at the history of KOGaming, I used far less swearing on there. Everything I did was more professional. It wasn't me standing there flipping off the camera and going crazy. It was professional voiceover videos, production value and everything. I have no clue how that channel got flagged to be unfit for ads. Because DSPGaming, if anything, right, should have been far worse. And DSPGaming never was flagged for being unfit for ads. But during early 2017, this is what happened. I became a full-time streamer. I kept making content for KOGaming. Within like the first 4 to 5 months of 2017, the whole channel got demonetized. And I said, well, then I'm done with it. And literally KOGaming became just a dead channel, defunct channel. It went from, I think at one point I had like a lot of subs and went down to only like 20,000 subs after that. And the only time I ever went back and I started using it again was in 2018, YouTube had a big error behind the scenes of YouTube, and it started flagging channels, not just mine, but tons of channels, as spam, because those channels were associated with Google Plus. Back then, you had to have a Google Plus account to have a YouTube account. I know that sounds really stupid, because it was, and this was right before YouTube completely got rid of Google Plus, just ended it, okay? For those who don't know, Google Plus was trying to be a competitor to Facebook. It was the Google social network. No one used it. It was a piece of dog shit. Everyone hated it, and everyone hated that you had to have an account to have a YouTube channel. It was just a terrible tie-in. And then this glitch was shutting down YouTube channels, including DSPGaming. DSPGaming was getting screwed over by this bullshit. And I was being told I couldn't put ads on videos, I couldn't upload videos or anything. Like, the channel was defunct because of this glitch with Google Plus. So eventually I contacted YouTube behind the scenes. I got Google Plus separated from DSPGaming. When I did, it fixed the whole issue and I was able to use DSPGaming again. But during that time frame in 2018, I uploaded some gameplay videos to KOGaming, and all of a sudden I could monetize videos on there again. It didn't matter. By then, the channel was dead. You can't have a channel with no new content for a year and expect that people are going to care if you upload to it again. You just can't. And that's what happened, is the channel died completely when I stopped uploading. Because, like, why am I going to do edited content, highly stylized content, and put all the time and effort into doing it, and then get, you know, no money on it because I can't fucking put ads on it. It didn't make any sense at all. Okay? So anyway, I just wanted to take a trip down memory lane today about this. Last night, I was just kind of like, I don't know, reminiscing a little bit. And for some odd reason, I ended up on KOGaming. And I was looking at the channel. I was like, wow, I don't even remember that I had made like half these videos. I'm looking at them, I'm like, wow, these are good. I actually watched back the Sonic 2006 retrospective that I had done. And I was like, wow, this video's good. Like, this video has a lot of good points about Sonic 2006 that I didn't remember because I haven't played it since 2016. I'm like, wow, you know, this is a neat video for anyone to watch who may be interested in what the oddity that Sonic 2006 was. You know, and, you know, a few other things, you know, I'm watching a few of these. Basically, I was watching them as I was trying to go to sleep. I was just popping up, watching a few quick videos as I'm trying to go to sleep. And I'm like, wow, these aren't bad at all. What a shame. What a shame of what happened. That, number one, the only way you could get popularity on YouTube is to be toxic and negative. Because I liked doing that style of content. I really did. I felt proud in putting in the time and effort to put out a high production value video that people liked. I thought that it was worthy of, you know, the time and effort I put into it. But it was just a shame the only time that the videos really took off was when they were toxic or negative, right? The worst game, or, you know, No Man's Buy, right? Or, you know, Turtle Soup. I'd rather be in a thing of soup than fucking play this Ninja Turtles game and stuff like that. Pretty disappointing that that's the kind of content I would have had to keep putting out, always putting out toxic, negative content if I wanted that channel to continue to take off the way that it had, you know? It's a shame, because I really liked doing it. And then, of course, YouTube put an end to it anyway. Even if I wanted to keep making content, they ended it. So, okay. All right, guys. Shout-outs time. We start off today with OG Gregory doing a $2 super chat saying, blend the ham, use ham as lotion, and drink the ham. OG Gregory, you are an incredibly disturbing person. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm very, very upset with you right now that you would say these kind of things on my stream. In reality, I just don't know what the hell you're talking about. So thank you for the super chat. And, okay. Tips. Our first tip from today is from GTA Slayer 504, who tipped me $3, said, Phil, how are you? Hope everything's well. Here's a list of the businesses that you can do on stream. It could be useful. These are the ones you haven't done yet. Kaufman Cabs, Counterfeit Money Printworks, the Film Studio, and the Malibu Club. Okay, those are the 4 I haven't done yet. Cool. Thank you for that, GTA Slayer. Let's get you up on the leaderboard. Wait. Slayer 504. And that, there we go. Okay, awesome. I also received a $2 tip from the guy whose name I literally can't pronounce because it's written in a different language. It's like Niko, and then I don't know if that's a C. But he did a $2 tip. He says, it's true. Negative videos always do good on YouTube. People just want something to hate. You're right. It's weird and just odd. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. If something's terrible and you want to laugh at it, okay. But why is it that, like, those videos only are the ones that can be popular on YouTube? Why can't there also be like, oh my God, it's like a great game and here's the reasons why it's a triumph? Why can't those videos do well on YouTube? Because I did videos like that. I remember Doom 2016, Uncharted 4. I did several positive review videos that were highly edited, great production value, and I said the games were great. And they just didn't do nearly as well. Nearly as well. Okay? As any of the negative videos that I put out. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it feels like it's the human condition. It feels like people just want to see others fail. People want to see others burn up and what did they crash and burn? Yeah, that's it. People want to see other people crash and burn. They want to see things fail. It's bad. It is. I want to... listen, I'll be just like you. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, when you see someone who maybe was up there fall from grace, right? Yes. Sometimes you can get some kind of a little bit of pleasure out of that. Sometimes you get a laugh out of that. But I don't want to see that constantly. I don't want to see... When I see stuff like that, I actually cringe and it actually bothers me a bit. I do like hearing success stories. I do like hearing positive things. I want to hear about what games are good. I don't want to just constantly hear about what games are bad. I also want to hear about what games are good. But apparently that's just not me. You know, there's just people who are like that. They just toxic, toxic, toxic. And that's what YouTube has become. You know, every year it's worse. And YouTube does nothing about it. YouTube actually promotes that activity with their algorithms pushing the negative, toxic, focused content to the forefront. So, the Homefront the Revolution video was a perfect example, right? That video was like the top gaming video for 2 weeks on YouTube. The top gaming, not just the top video about Homefront. It was the top gaming video on YouTube for 2 weeks. That's why I had over 1 million views. It kept recommending it to everyone. The algorithm just is unstoppable once it starts going. So, Chicken Man is to me $1.50. He says, Twitch allows streamers now to see why people will stop subbing to the channel. You think that could be a thing on YouTube? You can see possibly why people stop being a member and select a reason. I feel it's a privacy issue the streamer should not know. I don't know if that data would even be useful. Because most people probably don't give a fuck. If you're, for example, you become a member of this channel, all right? It's supposed to be auto-renew. And what I mean by that is when you sign up to be a member of DSPGaming here on YouTube, supposedly, it automatically signs you up for an auto-renewing program every month. Yet, we see a decline in memberships all the time. Just 2 days ago, we saw a giant, sharp decline, like 20 memberships in one day. Why? I don't know. Do you really think, honestly, do you really think people are going to answer honestly when they do that? Or they're just going to click through to get the fuck through and get out of there, right? How many people will say, oh, well, I'm not going to resub, or I'm not going to up my membership to DSPGaming because Phil burped too much today. Very meaningful, right? Or Phil's ugly. Can't stand looking at him anymore. There you go. Or ho, 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 Merry Christmas, right? People aren't going to actually fill it out and be honest. They might just click, fuck this. I'm out of here. Click through, you know? So I don't know how useful of a tool it's going to be, quite frankly. Chicken Man to another $1.50 says, living like a tartif. A tartif. They don't know what you're doing. Must be art. You're a headache. In a suitcase, you're a star. Oh no, don't you be shy. You don't have to go blind. Hold me, thrill me, kiss me, kill me. To you too. It's Bono. Thank you, Chicken Man. I don't know why you said that in your tip, but I do appreciate that. And I used to have that soundtrack, Batman Forever. I had that soundtrack, and I listened to that song all the time. Hold me, thrill me, kiss me, kill me. And then later on, kill me. It would be very high pitched like that. Your boy Lamb just re-upped his membership for 6 months. He says, I've auto-renewed for 6 months. Awesome. Thank you, your boy Lem, for the ongoing support. Appreciate that. Guys, I think this pre-stream podcast has come to a natural end. What do you guys think? Do you think we've talked enough? And do you think it's time now to start with gameplay of the City of Vice? That's what game we're playing today. The City of Vice, right? Pinocchio says he likes the other overlay better for the pre-stream podcast. The one that has Ryu and Mega Man. Do you mean this one? Or do you mean this one? Or do you mean this one? Or possibly this one? I have all different, little minute changes. You see that? I do have many different pre-stream podcast overlays. And I purposely alternate between them. So that way it doesn't just feel like the same thing every day. Right? You might find, oh, a little change here, a little change there. Right? There you go. Barely Legal has done a super chat. He didn't say anything. He just did a super chat. Thank you, Barely Legal, for the super chat. Thank you. Why is there an O before your name? Oh, Barely Legal. Okay. Chicken Man says he played this entire Definitive Edition trilogy. He now feels GTA 3 is the best one in the remaster because it looks amazing and the missions don't feel that easy like the other ones. Interesting. You saved the best for last. Carlos says, thanks for keeping honest, staying true to yourself. There will always be those of us that appreciate that. Yeah, you know, it's not the only times. Many times over the years I've told you. Opportunities I've had, essentially to get ahead and have a positive benefit for myself and my channel and or money-making opportunities that I had that I turned down. I had quite a few of those over the years. Companies that contacted me, wanted me to advertise their product. Game companies that contacted me, wanted me to play and advertise their games. And in general, I always turn it down because I feel I'm a guy who's supposed to be an honest content creator and bring you guys my honest reactions, opinions, transparent gameplay, not paid advertisement gameplay. There's been very few opportunities I've been given where it's like, oh, we'll pay you to do this, but by the way, you can be honest. It's more like, we'll pay you to do this, and you're very limited in what you can say and do. Here's the criteria, and here's the time frame when you can put out the content, and here's what you could do, this or that. And I turn them down. I still get them today. I seriously still get emails today from indie games. Will you play our game and make a video and do this and that? I'm like, no. No, that's not who I am. You know, of course, I had these opportunities much more back when I was much more popular. Today, I don't get that many. I just get indie stuff today. But back in the day, even big companies. And you notice a lot of content creators took those opportunities and did those promotional streams and got those games early. And now they're in the big, well-accepted group of people who get everything. They get everything early. They get to play streams early, make thousands of dollars from crowdfunding contributions from their audience. They blow it up. They've blown up in popularity. They go to fucking the game awards. They go to promotional events. They're the golden content creators, right? And I just never been like that, man. Never. Rob on Wheels tipped me $5. So how's it going, y'all? Big ups, Carlos. Thank you, Rob on Wheels, for the tip. Good to see you. Things are going nicely on this pre-stream today. I'm having a good time talking to everyone and interacting, and I hope you guys enjoyed the pre-stream podcast. Final reminder, if you watched this podcast on YouTube On Demand and you liked it, please like the video. Please leave a comment. I've already asked for your input on several things in this video. Please leave a comment and let me know what you think. That's it for the pre-stream podcast today, my friends. Happy holidays. See you later.